Michigan State won the toss and deferred. They'll take the wind in the first quarter and get that great defense on the field first. Kevin Muma kicks off for the Spartans. And with that breeze, no chance out the back of the end zone over the head of Amir Abdullah. Here comes Tommy Armstrong and the Nebraska offense, redshirt freshman from Cibolo, Texas, between San Antonio and Austin. A perfect 5-0 as the starting quarterback this season after taking over for the injured Taylor Martinez. And he led them on a dramatic 75-yard drive to win the game in the final minutes at Michigan last week. Dual threat, not as prolific a runner as Martinez, but he can hurt you both with the run and the pass. And right away they start with Abdullah, who rushed for 110 against the Spartans last year in East Lansing. His first carry gets him 8. Nikos Allen made the tackle.
Right away they're going a little bit of tempo.
That is customary for Nebraska. They like to play at a fast pace. It's swung out to Kenny Bell, and he has a first down with a gain of 4. Impact Players brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
We actually want to have an impact matchup right here. It's the wide receivers of Nebraska against the corners of Michigan State, and can they beat press coverage? That's why Michigan State can come with so many pressures and blitzes, because they get up in your face and pressure and makes it difficult to get open downfield.
Full house backfield, and the option pitch is dropped by Amani Cross. It's a free ball, and Michigan State has it. Shalik Calhoun with the fumble recovery, his 4th of the year. That leads the Big Ten. He was already the conference leader coming in. It was Terrell Newby who couldn't handle the pitch. The fake went to Cross.
Well, right here, Abdullah handles that pitch. Newby, the freshman, does not handle that pitch, but that's what Michigan State does. They get after you and are able to create turnovers, even if they're self-inflicted by the offense. They have that intimidating factor working for them.
It's a big difference between these two teams. Michigan State now +7 for the year in turnover margin. Nebraska's -4. Connor Cook under center from the 40-yard line. Jeremy Langford. And into Stanley Jean-Baptiste, a gain of 4. Like Tommy Armstrong, Cook was not a starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. He's a sophomore from Hinckley, Ohio, near Cleveland. Took over as the starter in game 2. All he's done is go 7-1.
Getting
doesn't make mistakes.
No, that's right. Good point, Sean. He's getting better every single week.
Strong arm. Andrew Maxwell, the senior, was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. Langford again lunges forward. He's about 2 yards short of the first down. He's working on a streak of 4 straight games with over 100 yards. Michael Rose, the middle linebacker, made the tackle for a rapidly improving Nebraska defense. Now the Spartans line up quickly on 3rd and 2. Langford again has the first down inside the 28.
You talk about the improvement of Cook. Well, Langford, he's improved his vision, which makes him more of an effective running back. He struggled a little bit early on, but now he's starting to see it, and he's getting a feel for carrying the rock.
That last game was 2 weeks ago. Michigan State coming off a bye week. Nebraska coaches thought they might see a few new wrinkles from Michigan State with the extra time to prepare. Off the play fake. Cook throws it to the back of the end zone. The receiver wide open. Tony Lippett. Incomplete. The officials conferred and said it was an incomplete pass. Very close along the back line of the end zone.
Let's see if Lippett right here does a good job of trying to keep his feet down, but you can see the right heel is out of bounds, and the threat of a running quarterback. Connor Cook had a bunch of green in front of him. That drew the Nebraska defenders up.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is that the pass was incomplete.
They lost discipline in their coverage, and he was able to find Lippett all alone because somebody wasn't disciplined in covering a deep guy down the field.
That's when he has possession of the ball, and He is out of bounds. Looks like the officials got it right. The back judge Jack Lyman, the side judge Craig Jeffries conferred. So many close calls. I watched the tape of last year's meeting between these two teams this morning, and lots of controversial calls on both sides in that game. I think they got this one right. John Corris is the replay official, one of the best in the country.
Yeah, they do a good job, and that's a missed opportunity because Connor had him wide open, Sean. And to me, it looked like that ball was thrown with the wind. It looked like the wind caught that a little bit and carried it just a tad.
Dan Capron is the referee.
After further review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands. Second down.
So a missed opportunity for Sparty with a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone. Second and 10 from the 28-yard line. Josh Mitchell blitzes off the corner. Cook looked right at him as he threw, incomplete. Intended for Benny Fowler with Corey Cooper as safety in coverage. Third down and 10. Nebraska outstanding defensively on third down, third in the country. Their opponents converting just 27% of the time.
Like to take number 44, Randy Gregory, move him around, bring him from different angles. Leads the Big Ten in sacks.
Had 3 last week, and here he comes. Deep throw over the head of his intended receiver and almost intercepted by Andrew Breen. Benny Fowler was the intended receiver.
Here you see the pressure again. This is a little delayed blitz by Randy Gregory. They like to line him up outside and inside in a big 6'6", 255-pound frame, long and lean, and can get pressure from anywhere on the field.
There's Michael Geiger, true freshman's done a terrific job. He was not the starter at the beginning of the year, but since he took over, 9 out of 10. 45-yarder with a strong wind at his back. And he played the hook beautifully. Kevin Muma kicks off again. Probably see nothing but touchbacks in that direction today unless the wind dies down, and it's not forecast to do that. Well, we mentioned the problems on the offensive line for Nebraska, and they played pretty well given all the injuries that they've had to deal with. Here's how they line up today. Mark Pelini is the nephew of the head coach Bo Pelini, making his first start at center, although he has played some as a backup. And Zach Stareb, who got thrust into the game last week when Jeremiah Sertles went down with a leg injury, gets his first career start. He's mammoth at 6'8", 315.
Yeah, he did an admirable job last week against a fast rushing Michigan team.
Back to the ground with Amir Abdullah. Drags Curtis Drummond with him. And he has a first down just across the 35-yard line.
You know, that's what I didn't understand in that first series. Why was he not in there in the first series? You have the true freshman in there. That's the guy that needs to get the ball because he's the tone setter for this Cornhusker offense.
Armstrong after the fake to Kenny Bell. Looks like the first 2 plays of their first possession. Bell's been bothered by a sore groin, was not as effective as usual last week at Michigan.
This is an automatic read, Sean. When you see those corners playing off, Tommy Armstrong's going to look to the wide receiver on that bubble screen.
3 receivers to the left and a throw, and it is intercepted. Curtis Drummond with the interception for Michigan State.
Well, watch Kenny Bell. It's a misread between Armstrong Jr. and Kenny Bell. Armstrong Jr. thinks Bell is going to run outside. Instead, he sits it down. He properly sits it down because it's a zone defense. If it were a man defense, Kenny Bell would run where the ball was. That was a misread by Tommy Armstrong Jr. 2 turnovers, first 2 series. Can Michigan State capitalize?
Second interception of the year for the junior Drummond, part of a tremendous secondary. And the 18th takeaway, second of the day already. 6 snaps on offense for Nebraska, 2 turnovers. Jeremy Langford with blockers in front. There's a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. Zaire Anderson made the tackle. It would be a gain of 9 if it stands.
Holding, offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, first down.
The redshirt freshman left tackle Jack Conklin.
Well, this is where Randy Gregory has improved his game. He's not just a pass rusher, but he's outstanding in getting leverage and playing against the run. His hands are inside right there, and you see Conklin's going to lose him and just kind of grab that shoulder just a tad, and you see that jersey pull, Sean. That's going to be a flag every time.
So it's back at the 44. 2 of the best defensive ends in the country in this game today, in Gregory and Shalik Calhoun of Michigan State. First and 20. Langford turned the right corner and got the Spartans back into Nebraska territory at the 47, where he's taken down by Michael Rose.
Just early on, watching that mammoth offensive line of Michigan State, they're doing a good job of sustaining blocks and keeping a body on a body. Nebraska's getting into the right gaps, but you have the pressure of that offensive blocker on you. They can't get a solid shot on Langford.
Veteran offensive line, the center Jack Allen making his 20th career start. Blake Treadwell, the left guard, is 26th. Jeremy Langford up the middle to the 43-yard line. 3rd down and 7.
See if John Papuchis, the defensive coordinator, success blitzing last week. Will they come with pressure here?
Connor Cook's 0 for 3 passing. They blitz. Cook running for his life. Gregory's there, and Cook throws it away. Wow, we saw it last week against Michigan. At 6'6", 255, the closing speed that Gregory has is remarkable.
It is. Right here is Gregory's in the middle of the field, but the blitz is going to come from the outside, Sean. Why? Because Michigan State slides their offensive line to the dangerous Gregory. Then you counter that by bringing pressure away from Gregory, and that's why you had open players hitting the quarterback.
That was part of the game plan for Nebraska today. They thought that the Michigan State offensive line would pay very close attention, slide that protection toward Gregory. There might be some free runners coming from another direction. Mike Sadler's punt out of bounds at the 9-yard line.
Pad up.
1st and 10, Nebraska, their 3rd possession. They've turned it over twice, starting from their own 9. Amir Abdullah out just shy of the 15. Great work, Chris, by the Nebraska defense. Twice the ball turned over in Nebraska territory, the 40 and 46, and they've held Michigan State to just 3 points.
And that's the improvement that we've seen from Nebraska's defense over the past few weeks. And a lot of it's based on communication. They're communicating better, so everybody's getting in the right place.
Tommy Armstrong handed it off to Abdullah. Max Bulla, the terrific inside linebacker, stacked him up about 2 yards short of the 1st down.
And if you saw the game day feature, his nickname is the computer, as he gets everybody lined up. He's smart. You got Calhoun as the Bane. Bernard, no-fly zone. Love it.
Well, a very smart 3.56 GPA in finance. 3rd down and 2. Armstrong working against the number 1 3rd down defense in the country. Abdullah doesn't get there. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Well, the computer diagnoses this play and is right on it. Because It's on a blitz. You see him, his hands pointing right to where the ball is going. They're running a toss ISO. Now watch a computer known as Max Bulla fill this hole and make the play. Beating the defense, forcing that ball to come back, and you have the big, talented defensive lineman finishing up.
He blew up the fullback, C.J. Zimmerer. So here's Sam Foltz punting into that strong wind. And the crowd cheers while that ball's in the air. What a kick into the breeze. And it takes a good bounce for the Huskers. Downed all the way down at the 24-yard line by Charles Jackson. Delton Williams comes in at running back now behind Connor Cook. He gets the carry and gets upended after a gain of 2 by Michael Rose. Here's Shannon.
Well, Sean, guys, you just look at the emotion on this Nebraska defense. You can see how big this game really is. The defensive coaches, very animated, very emotional. The message hasn't been about communication, Chris, like you mentioned. It's been about execution, about doing the small details. But I did hear Coach Papuchis tell his guys we need to get the calls in on 3rd and short a little quicker to you guys.
Communication equals execution. If you can't communicate well, you won't execute well.
Connor Cook handed it off inside to Williams. He delivered a blow to Corey Cooper as the safety came up to make the tackle with help from David Santos. It'll be 3rd down and 2. And Shannon talked about this defense, Chris. Wow, have they improved in recent weeks. They've allowed only 1 touchdown now the last 27 drives by their opponents. It was a young group that made some mental mistakes, communication errors earlier, but now they're starting to settle in.
They're getting in the right gap, Sean. Gap integrity is key.
Wildcat formation here with Delton Williams lined up to take a direct snap. He juggled the snap, searching for a hole, and he's dropped at the line of scrimmage by Michael Rose, who's had a terrific first quarter for John Papuchis and this defense.
Rose is being a thorn in Michigan State's offense. He's making plays all over the field. First of all, it's a bad snap, forcing him to adjust. And watch Rose come in here unblocked because everybody's doing their job, taking away blockers, and Michael Rose closes the gate in front of the ball.
You mentioned the communication problems. They moved Rose to middle linebacker in recent weeks so that he would be the communicator on defense, and they think he's done a terrific job. Here's a big punt with the win by Sadler. It is muffed by Jordan Westerkamp, and he's tackled and then lost the ball. But they're going to rule Westerkamp down by contact. Curtis Drummond, who's already had an interception in this game, almost had the 3rd takeaway by Michigan State. And anxious moments for Westerkamp, who muffed a punt last week at Michigan. That back in Lincoln, Nebraska, as you can see, the referee Dan Capron is over with the headset on, talking to John Corus, the replay official. They are reviewing the call on the punt. And Chris, we watched a lot of times during the commercial. It looked to us like the ball was coming out before Westerkamp hit the ground.
Yeah, you're going to see right here, he's going to lose possession, and that ball is loose right there before the knee or the arm hits. Taylor Pepper, number 52, the long snapper, doing a good job of covering. Falls on top of the football, and that ball is a fumble. Conclusive.
And it was recovered by the long snapper, Tabor Pepper, after Drummond upended Westerkamp. Westerkamp was the hero 2 weeks ago when they beat Northwestern on the last play of the game on a 49-yard Hail Mary pass that he caught. But he was very nearly a GOAT last week at Michigan when he muffed a punt. Nebraska rallied in the last minutes to win.
You would have to think, Sean, that right there, his confidence about fielding punts, you know, you might have to help him out and get somebody else, put Kenny Bell back there just to catch the ball.
It's not like he's been electrifying. They're last in the Big Ten in punt returns, in 107th in the country for Bo Pelini. They've averaged just 4.3 yards per punt return all year long. It's been a long conversation, and here comes the announcement.
The ruling on the previous play was that the punt was possessed by Nebraska with a knee on the ground. That ruling was subject to further review. After further review, it is determined that the punt was possessed, fumbled, and recovered by Michigan State at the 8-yard line, where it will be Michigan State's ball, 1st and goal.
So that is the 3rd turnover by Nebraska in the quarter. They haven't even played 10 minutes yet. And can the Nebraska defense rise up once again?
This is a huge challenge, and you got to call on your leaders. Rose stepping up, making the plays. Randy Gregory. Then if you're Michigan State, you got to be able to finish. And I look for them, Sean, to come down here with Langford and pound the football.
First and goal, Spartans from the 8-yard line. The toss to Langford. Jeremy's down just shy of the 5. Actually, R.J. Shelton took the toss.
They try to find ways to get him the football. R.J. Shelton, a true freshman. Explosive, good hands, but they like to get him on the jet sweeps, and there's a new little wrinkle for them, the toss sweep.
Second and goal from the 5. And a timeout called by Mark D'Antonio. Come way onto the field out by the 20-yard line.
Anytime you're in this type of situation, 2nd and goal, it's always a good time to go a little play action if you have something that you like. Some type of bootleg or rollout to get that young man, number 18, Connor Cook, out in space, because he can hurt you with your feet.
Very early in the game, but don't you think psychologically for the Michigan State offense, Chris, this is a big possession. They've been put in great position 3 times now.
Well, on the road, and you're in the red zone, and as you said, 3rd time down here in the red zone, and only coming away with 3 points, that would classify as a win for the Black Shirts of Nebraska.
That defense helped by this raucous crowd, 90,872. One of the great venues in all of sports in America. One of the reasons why the coaches love Cook is his poise. It's tossed to Shelton again. Touchdown, Michigan State. Westerkamp fumbled on the punt return. And the Spartans do get into the end zone this time.
Sean, when you can have a center that pool, a center guard combination pool, Treadwell and Allen, seal the corner with Treadwell. Now Allen's the one that's going to get the block on Corey Cooper in the end zone, which allows R.J. Shelton to run free. But anytime you have athletic offensive linemen, it gives you so much more versatility, what you can do as far as outside running if you have that center that can get out in space after he snaps the ball. That's a trait that a lot of coaches look for when they're looking at young offensive linemen, a center that can pull.
On the second play after the fumbled punt return by Westerkamp, Shelton takes it in from 5 yards out, his 2nd career touchdown. Saw a few minutes ago Kyle Bray, the graduate assistant, trying to pump Westerkamp back up. As you could imagine, he's probably inconsolable right now. Kyle Bray, by the way, the son of Notre Dame basketball coach Mike Bray. Michael Geiger for the extra point. And it is good.
Coach O's got him going, got him believing.
Stanford up to number 4 in the BCS, matching their highest ranking in the BCS era. Top-rated one-loss team hoping to play for the national championship. Lonzo Moore takes a knee. Armstrong is still in there. Since he's become the starter, they've regularly gone to Ron Kellogg III off the bench, frequently on the 4th possession of the game. They stick with Armstrong here, and Abdullah weaves his way for 5. Here's Shannon.
Well, Sean, how many times do we hear coaches say it's all about how my team responds to adversity? After turning the ball over 3 times, you would think that this Nebraska offense would have a sense of urgency. Well, offensive line coach John Garrison just brought a little perspective. He told his guys, don't go out and try to make all this up in one play. Take it one play at a time.
And Nebraska has had a history the last couple of seasons of rallying back from double-digit deficits, including their win last year at Michigan State. Abdullah runs for a first down. Max Bulla the tackle at the 37-yard line, a gain of 7.
It's amazing they're able to run up the middle because Michigan State basically has 9 guys in the box. Because they have so much confidence in the corners on the outside, they play their safeties about 8 yards off the ball in run-down situations.
Amani Cross comes in now. They faked it to him, and the catch made by Sam Birch. Battling for every inch, finally dragged down by Isaiah Lewis, the safety, at the 37-yard line of Michigan State.
Well, the play action sucks him up. Kenny Bell's going to block Denard out on the corner, allowing Birch to do some work after he catches the football. And the important thing about that is a confidence builder for Tommy Armstrong because he gave him a catchable ball, so the transition from catch to run was smooth.
Now Terrell Newby is the running back. 26-yard gain. They're in Michigan State territory for the first time with 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Option. Armstrong kept it. And the crowd applauds the decision and the execution. I don't think they wanted to see another risky pitch. Twan Jones made the tackle.
And this is something that the defensive coordinator, Pat Narduzzi, was concerned about, was defending the option. And the thing about Tommy Armstrong, why it's tough to defend, because he's so patient with the football, has witnessed last week in the late pitch to Abdullah for the game-winning score against Michigan.
Abdullah back on the field now in 2nd and 5. Armstrong faked at the end. Man wide open. It is Birch. Touchdown, Nebraska. Extra point by Pat Smith, up and good.
Well, when you have press corners, you want to attack with a wheel route. This is a wheel route. Wachanunwa will take the corner out of the play. Birch is going to come right down the sidelines. The safety does not get over the top because he does not see him. The safety is going to help his buddy, the corner, Waynes, in the seam route, where Birch sneaks out on the wheel route, and good patience by Tommy Armstrong Jr. to throw the wheel route. In all honesty, Sean, number 27, Curtis Drummond, misses the play. He gets sucked up for the run, and he's got to be the one over the number 2 wide receiver to run down the field with the wheel route, understanding the corner will be cleared by the outside wide receiver. Great play call by Tim Beck and well executed.
Birch getting more of an opportunity to play in recent weeks as they've been without Jamal Turner. He caught the winning touchdown pass with 6 seconds to go in East Lansing last year. Rich Fisher's had to mix and match the wide receiver positions as well. Birch has caught 7 balls for the year now. 3 of them have gone for touchdowns. He had catches on that drive of 26 and then 32 for the score, as Nebraska went 75 yards in 5 plays. Took just 2:13 to do it. Morrow Bondi kicks off. into the wind. Down to R.J. Shelton. Whoop, bodies flying. And Shelton stopped by Leroy Alexander, shy of the 20-yard line. That poise of Connor Cook and the offense will be tested here. Jeremy Langford. Hard-earned yardage there. Looked like they had him stacked up close to the line. He spun away from Randy Gregory and got to the 22, a gain of 4, where Zaire Anderson made the tackle.
Well, I love tough guys, and that won't be a big stat sheet number, but that's saved yardage. And he's fighting and clawing, and Rose had him locked up inside. Langford did a little spin move to get extra yards to put him Spartan offense on schedule on second down.
Connor Cook, plenty of time, running out of time, and has a man for a first down. McGarrett Kings breaks a tackle, and Randy Gregory had to run him down at the 39. First down.
The maturation of a quarterback. Right here you see Connor Cook. Instead of fleeing outside, he steps up into the pocket to throw the throwing lane to Kings Jr., who does work after it. But normally Cook, when he gets in trouble, Sean, he likes to scramble to his right. That time he was patient, stepped up into the pocket and found the open receiver downfield.
17-yard completion to Kings. Deep handoff to Langford. And a good tackle in space by David Santos, the sophomore linebacker out of Spring, Texas. Gain of 2.
Look at the improvement of this Husker defense, and since they struggled, the biggest improvement, and you talked about it a little bit earlier, has been the linebacker position. Zaire Anderson played very well last week. Rose is coming on from the middle, and Santos has been their most consistent performer.
Much improved on first down against Michigan was the Nebraska defense last week. They were one of the worst in the country heading into that game on first down defense. They bring a blitz, and it's swung out to Langford. Randy Gregory again runs him down just shy of the first down yardage. They'll mark it at the 48. It'll be 3rd down and 1 for Michigan State.
Randy Gregory did a good job of making the tackle, but he was late on his coverage. It's a peel blitz. That means if he gets a swing by Langford, he has to call off his rush and run with Langford because they had the blitz coming right up the middle. That was his responsibility. Just got there late.
He had 3 sacks last week, the most by a Husker since Ndamukong Suh in 2009. There's a first down for Langford. Crossing midfield to the 47. David Santos to stop, and might be the last play of a very entertaining first quarter. They don't have to snap it again. They just do get it off. Benny Fowler this time. Same action they've used previously with R.J. Shelton. Thad Randall the tackle on the final play of the first quarter. 2nd down and 6 for Michigan State. Connor Cook's pass batted down by Jason Ankara, the defensive end.
Boy, he saved the day with the block shot. Ankara, number 9, is going to come upfield along and mirror Connor Cook. But if he does not bat this bound, number 37, Trevin Pendleton, the fullback, you see all that space and open? That's a big play right there by Ankara, saving yardage.
Third down and 6. Connor Cook out of the shotgun. Design roll, and it is caught in traffic. Crowd doesn't like the spot. They're going to give Tony Lippett forward progress with the necessary yardage for the first down at the 36, where he was hit by Josh Mitchell, who's slow to get up.
Disciplined route running, getting to the sticks right there, and it looked like he got a favorable spot.
Daniel Davies come in for Mitchell, number 23, a sophomore. And I thought John Corus would take a look at that spot. He didn't get to the 36 for sure. Zaire Anderson makes the tackle on Jeremy Langford after a gain of 2.
That was a favorable spot. And then if you're Nebraska, okay, they got a favorable spot. Line up and play defense. And number 7, Sean, Malik Collins, the true freshman. Now he's going to get a lot more playing time with Thad Randall. And I just watched him in particular in that play, and he certainly held his own in this big ball game, fresh off the bench. A big boy in there.
And number 7 looks really small.
It's stretching.
300-pounder. True freshman from Kansas City. Langford running room to his left. Tripped up by Ciante Evans, the leader of that secondary. Senior out of Arlington, Texas. There'll be 3rd down and short for Michigan State. The ball at the 27, 3rd down and a yard.
Well, the percentages are telling me that JP and Bo Pelini are going to blitz. And so how did Michigan State handle the blitz? They rolled Connor Cook out last time and gave him an easy throw. Now, it depends on where they blitz from. Usually they'll use Gregory and they'll bring the blitz opposite of Randy Gregory, number 44.
And Gregory off the field. You saw him wincing on the sideline. Connor Cook keeps it and has the 1st down to the 21. He picked up 5. Corey Cooper made the tackle. One of the reasons they went to Connor Cook, even though he's not a speed merchant as a runner, he is more effective in the run game than was the previous starter, Andrew Maxwell. Cook, design roll, caught at the 15 by Tony Lippett. And Michigan State with its most impressive drive of the game.
Good job by Lippett running what they call a stick route. And recognition by Cook, seeing his wide receiver matched up with a linebacker.
13th play of this drive for Sparty. Langford around the corner to the right. Corey Cooper, the safety, another tackle at the 10-yard line, and it's another 1st down for the Spartans.
Michigan State going a little bit of tempo, understanding they have Nebraska on their heels, and I'm starting to see hands on hips from the Nebraska defenders.
This is not unusual for the Spartans on offense. They lead the Big Ten in time of possession, more than 34.5 minutes per game. Number 2 in the country behind only Florida. 14th play of the drive. They started from their own 18. Now they're here. Cook keeps it. He's a big, strong guy. 6'4", 218. A very athletic family. David Santos made the tackle. His dad played tight end at Indiana. His mom was a basketball player at Cincinnati. His sister Jackie played basketball at Old Dominion.
He's an impressive young guy and doesn't lack for confidence. And I don't mean, not cocky in any way, but he's a very confident kid. And I, as a player, love my quarterbacks to have that confidence, genuine confidence.
Randy Gregory still on the sideline. That's a big absence for the Husker defense. They blitz, and this time they win the battle, as Connor Cook is dropped for a loss by David Santos.
Well, this is a repeat of the Connor Cook zone read run. This time they run right into the blitz, and John Papuch is dialed it up right as Santos is going to come on the snap of the ball, hitting that B gap to take away the run.
3rd and goal from the 8. Connor Cook, they're confused. Either that or he's a good actor. He's acting. He comes out to the right. It's a trick play. Lippett trying to pass it, and the receiver didn't see the ball coming. It falls incomplete, but there's a flag. Andrew Gleicher, the tight end, was the intended receiver.
Gleicher didn't get the memo that he was the intended receiver, because he's throwing some nice blocks downfield, which are going to get him for offensive pass interference.
Pass interference. Number 92 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, I wonder if Bo Pelini wants to turn that penalty down. Dan Cabron said 3rd down, but he could turn it down and force a field goal.
Right here, it's not a bad concept. I mean, Cook's doing a good job of acting. Sean, credit to you. Well played. You sniffed that out. And here comes the reverse pass. Now, Cook is wide open in the middle, but he doesn't see him. Gleicher is throwing a block downfield, thinking it was going to be a run.
Apparently, he was not the first option, or just forgot he had a starring role in that play. They do turn down the penalty. There's a 25-yard field goal try by Michael Geiger. Already connected from 45 today. And that one's good. National championship game foremost on their minds. Kevin Muma into the win. His first returnable kickoff of the day by Kenny Bell. He got upended, and there's a flag down as well. He got chopped down at the 17-yard line. Alonzo Moore is injured. That touchdown of the last possession by Nebraska was the first allowed by Michigan State in more than a month. They hadn't given up a touchdown since October 12th in the fourth quarter of their 42-28 win over Indiana. The Hoosiers, the only team this year to score more than 17 points against Michigan State. Held their last three opponents to a total of 9 points. Amir Abdullah rips through the middle on first down. Out to the 23-yard line, upended by Denikos Allen. Juan Jones.
Anytime that they've had success throwing the football, it's been off the play action. And it's because of those first down runs by Amir Abdullah, getting 3 or 4 or 5 yards a pop.
Abdullah's rushed for 100 or more in 6 straight games and in 8 of their 9 games this season. He's run for 44 yards so far today. Armstrong gave it to him again. Amir Abdullah out of bounds at the Michigan State 48.
We talked about what makes backs exceptional. Well, quality is vision. Right here, Amir Abdullah sees that hold, and he doesn't have great speed, but he has great burst. And again, the vision takes him to the outside, and he understands his limitations. He's not going to outrun Denard, but he's going to get as many yards as he can get. But it's that vision and burst, Sean, that sets him apart.
29-yard gain. He's up to 73 yards rushing. There hasn't been a team this season that's rushed for 100 yards in a game against Michigan State. Abdullah might get to 100 himself in the half. Max Bulla pulled him down after a gain of 1.
You talked about it in the open. Though. Last year, Nebraska had 313 yards rushing, and they get a lot of confidence when they play Sparty. They just feel like they can move the ball.
Bo Pelini said we feel like we match up pretty well against Michigan State. The 205 of those rushing yards last year came from Taylor Martinez, the quarterback, who's injured and not playing. High throw through the hands of Sam Birch. Third down and 8. Armstrong lofts one, and it's almost intercepted. Intended for Quincy Enunwa.
One of the things Michigan State does well, and we hit on it in the open, Sean, is that their press coverage. Trey Wayne's number 15 doesn't get a good jump, but you see the quick hips and the center field turn. He's able to keep pace with Quincy Enunwa. Ball overthrown, but Wayne's was all over him.
Sam Foltz on to punt. Garrett King standing at his own 10-yard line. That's to make the catch. Did he signal for a fair catch? Yes, he did, and then he was bumped. It was an iffy decision to catch it at the 7-yard line, and an even worse decision. I believe it was Davey who hit him. Officials conferring.
Kick catch interference by the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
About that fair catch, and we'll revisit it after first down for Michigan State. Instead of starting from their own 7, they started at 22. We talked about he made a pretty clear signal, but the rule book talking about a valid fair catch signal says It's valid when the receiver has obviously signals intention by extending one hand above his head and waving that hand from side to side more than once. And he just gave it kind of a one-time swipe over his head, not back and forth more than once. That was an invalid fair catch signal. And Daniel Davey should have been off the hook. We're told from the replay booth that is something that they cannot overturn. Jeremy Langford down at the 26-yard line. Greg McMullen, the freshman, goes off.
It's another one of that talented group of young defensive linemen for Nebraska. Adds depth and it keeps the pass rushers fresh for these situations. 3rd and 6+.
Andy Gregory is in the game. He was out for a while on that long drive last time. They're still without Thad Randall in the middle of that defensive line. 3rd and 6 with 7 minutes to go in the half. Cook throws. Was it caught? Yes. What a catch by Benny Fowler, who got walloped by Corey Cooper, but held on at the 42 for a 16-yard gain and a first down.
Yeah, not only the catch, which is outstanding by Benny Fowler, but the throw where only his guy can get it, and to get it over the tall, lengthy Stanley Jean-Baptiste. That's an excellent play by Connor Cook, and you almost feel his confidence growing as this game is progressing.
That was a beautiful throw. Stanley Jean-Baptiste, 6'3", up in the air, and Cook placed it perfectly. Good catch by Fowler, who's been prone to drops from time to time. And that pass incomplete. Well covered by Keontae Evans, intended for McGarrett Kings. On 2nd and 10, look out for Gregory. Never saw him coming. By the time he did, it was much too late.
Well, speed off the corner, Sean. Finotti's going to go inside, and watch this. This is just something you cannot teach. Quick swim. Then here's what he does better than anybody else that I've watched this year. He's got cornerback closing speed. When he smells blood, he goes and gets it.
Loss of 9, 3rd and 19. Nebraska leads the Big Ten in sacks. Gregory, an emerging star these last few weeks. Plenty of time for Cook, and it is caught. Lippett stays on his feet and appears to have the first down by about a yard at the Nebraska 47.
That's killer. First of all, they're in good man-to-man coverage right here. And Josh Mitchell is in position, but the throw was so perfect over linebackers and right in stride to Lippett, who does a great job of concentrating, bringing that in with a hand in his face from number 5, Josh Mitchell. What a throw, though, by Connor Cook. Big-time arm.
Yeah, he can make all the throws.
He's taking the job, just like Mark wanted somebody to do, and finally Connor Cook, you see why. That type of throw.
Here's the blitz, Keontae Evans. And Cook did very well to hang on to the football back at the 45-yard line.
A great point by you about handing on the football, because Keontae Evans does a nice job of coming off. But right here, instead of going for the hit, he's got to go take that ball from him right now. And that's an outstanding job, all that. But how do you take a good play and you make it great? You come and tackle the football, not the man.
And he's been a tackle for loss machine. He's had 7 tackles for losses against Northwestern Michigan in their last 2 games. They love to blitz Evans off the corners.
He's a good blitzer. in a good play, but you know, you want to get great. So great is recognizing you got a chance to strip the ball first.
Timeout, Michigan State. Battle for control of their own destiny in the Legends division of the Big Ten. Michigan State undefeated in conference. Nebraska 1 loss. The winner will have control with only 2 games remaining after this week. Second at 18 for Michigan State. Spartans from their own 45. Nick Hill's come in at running back. He goes into the flat and gets chopped down at the 45-yard line. Leroy Alexander made the tackle. Gain of 10. Here's Shannon.
Well, Sean, you've mentioned Thad Randall a few times. He is sitting on the bench right now. His helmet is off, and he has a new brace on his right knee. You saw him come off the field. He spent some time on the training table, very much in pain. Randy Gregory also had both of his ankles taped up under the last series.
I think that made him faster.
Third down and 8, under 4 minutes to go in the half. Cook throws it up for grabs, and it looked like it was juggled and then caught out of bounds, and that's the call. McGarrett Kings couldn't possess it. Inbounds. Gregory forced Cook to get rid of it, and Stanley Jean-Baptiste had excellent position. Looked like he might pick it off.
Yeah, right there again, and I hate talking about it, but everything's close with Nebraska. A close fumble caused by Ciante Evans, and right there could have been an interception by Stanley Jean-Baptiste, who was in great position to secure that football.
There's a flag down for a penalty against Michigan State that's been declined. And Mike Sadler comes on to punt. One of the best in the country. We mentioned earlier his specialty is those punts down inside the 10-yard line. Leads the nation. One of the 10 semifinalists for the Ray Guy Award as the best punter in the nation. Going to need that breeze in his face to knock it down. He's done it again. My goodness. And a little skirmish. After Tabor Pepper, the long snapper, downed it. He's active getting downfield. He recovered the punt fumble earlier.
Michigan State only to 13 points with those turnovers.
Amir Abdullah taken down by Shalit Calhoun at the 13. It's a gain of 6.
It's just, if you would look at Amir Abdullah and say he had 81 yards, besides that one long run, those are quiet 81 yards, but it's just amazing how he keeps grinding.
Abdullah trying to turn the corner. Tough to do it against that defense that runs so well. Curtis Drummond banged him out of bounds a yard short of the first down.
Well, I want to show you how good this hit is. It's an excellent hit. Now, if Curtis Drummond would have wrapped him up, it would have been a great hit. But watch the shoulders of Amir Abdullah go backwards and sideways. That's because the contact is made in front of the man, taking away his angle and his power, knocking Abdullah backwards. Good angle tackle by Drummond.
Big play here. Third down and a yard. With 2.5 minutes to go until the half. Michigan State 1 timeout. Nebraska has all 3. They try the quick hitter with Abdullah, and he slid through to the 20 for a first down. Isaiah Lewis the stop. Monty Cross in at running back now. The bigger back at 225 pounds. Gets a yard. Joel Heath and Kaiser Reynolds made the tackle. They think Heath's the next star at defensive end for Michigan State. Their coach is raving about the sophomore from Cincinnati.
And Mark D'Antonio and his staff do an excellent job of coming into Ohio, getting a lot of players, especially defensive players, a lot of defensive linemen, linebackers.
Second and 9. Nebraska in no hurry here with the poor field position. And the crowd doesn't like it. Taylor Martinez, of course, started more games at quarterback than any other in Nebraska history. 43 career starts, not even in uniform today. A variety of injuries, toe, hip, abdomen. It doesn't look like he's going to play again this year. 37 career records at Nebraska, and boy was he a huge factor in that win last year at East Lansing. Armstrong fumbles. Another turnover. It looked like for a second Nebraska might get it back, but the Spartans have it at the 22-yard line.
Well, it's a big play. Shalik Calhoun's going to cause this fumble. They run a nice little stunt right here, right into the quarterback draw. This is a great call by Pat Narduzzi. You see number 89, Shalik Calhoun, coming in, getting that left arm in there. And ball security has certainly been the issue in the story of this football game for the Cornhuskers.
They ran a pretty safe play there with Michigan State out of timeouts. Just keep it in the hands of your quarterback and punt the ball with about a half minute to go in the half. But instead, Michigan State takes over off the 4th Nebraska turnover of the half. In a quick change situation, the Nebraska defense wasn't ready, so the Huskers used their first timeout. Even a field goal here makes it a 2-score game, and that could be huge with the way this is going between two defenses that are playing great football. Michigan State's done that all year and for several years, and the Nebraska defense, as it gains experience in recent weeks, playing better and better. 3 lost fumbles, 1 interception. The turnovers for Nebraska. There's one criticism of Armstrong. He has been turnover prone. Through 3 interceptions in the 2 games prior to last week. In each of those 2 games. Cook on the run, throws. Good catch by Kings. He's inbounds and short of the first down, so the clock's going to run. Ciante Evans had the tackle. Gain of about 8.5 for Michigan State.
I love it when receivers work back to the ball to help their quarterback, exactly what Kings did.
Nebraska running men off the field. They just did get them off. Langford through the middle. He's down to the 6. The clock will stop to move the change. 1st and goal with 32 seconds to go in the half. Spartans get to the line quickly. Langford powers to the end zone. Touchdown. Now he carried several defenders for several yards. You've talked about it. You wonder that time of possession by Michigan State taking its toll on the Nebraska defense.
It is, and also fatigue because of the missed tackles. You had Andrew Green, number 11, miss. David Santos had him in the sights at the line of scrimmage, miss. And you'll see the react. Yes, that's something that's frustrating to coach when you have an opportunity to make a play, you don't make it.
And fatigue. It's huge, Chris, because 21 seconds to go. If they tackle him anywhere in play, the clock's going to keep running. It's probably gotten to a situation where Michigan State was going to have to think about clocking the ball, running one more play, or kicking a field goal. All of that is made a moot point by the fact that Langford was able to power into the end zone. The extra point good by Michael Geiger.
And again, to me, Sean, this is just a lot of it's on Langford. I mean, Langford shows power, and he's getting better each week, and he's a tough kid, and he's carrying guys in. But when you have a chance to be unblocked at the line of scrimmage, your team needs a play to be made. You're a good linebacker in David Santos. You whiff at the line of scrimmage. Andrew Green comes in, takes a poor angle. He whiffs, and you got a powerful back like Langford. He will make you pay every single time.
Bo upset with the defense. They couldn't get the stop there, but it's the offense that has put the Nebraska defense in horrible positions time and time again. It's hard to win a game against any team, particularly one as good as Michigan State, when you're -4 in turnover margin in the half.
Makes you wonder if his offense stays anemic if we won't see Kellogg come in the second half.
Well, that's the other point I was going to raise to you if we had more time a moment ago. Because the plan in every game that Armstrong has played is to get Kellogg in the game, usually the 3rd or 4th series of the game. We asked Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, will you stick with that plan again, even if, say, Armstrong has the offense rolling right along? He said, absolutely. Even if it's 21-0 after 3 possessions, we're ahead. We're going to put Kellogg in the game at some point, usually the 4th series.
Yeah,
he hasn't played at all.
I wouldn't be surprised, Sean, if he starts the second half.
They felt like they needed more of the running threat at quarterback against this Michigan State defense. And whoa, is that ball out? Almost. It looked like the Spartans thought it was. They're going to go in the half down by 1 score, having turned it over 3 times. But now you're down by 2 scores against a team that's given up only 17 points or more once this year, more than 17 points once. R.J. Shelton, yard deep in the end zone. You expect a long kick by Bondi, who has a big leg, and booting with the wind at his back. 2/3 of his kickoffs this year have gone for touchbacks. And the Spartans will start at the 25-yard line.
You know, 2 of those turnovers were self-inflicted with a dropped muffed punt, and of course the drop pitch by Newby.
Connor Cook, 8 out of 15 in the first half, passing for 91 yards. Hands it off to Langford. Hosts the blockers in front. They still drop him for a 1-yard loss. Michael Rose penetrated. Here's Shannon Spake.
Well, Sean, how about those 4 Nebraska turnovers? Mark D'Antonio, head coach for Michigan State, told me it's tough to win a game when you turn the ball over 4 times. So he is happy with what his defense is doing. He's definitely giving credit where credit is due. He said Amir Abdullah is a great runner. They need to stop him in the second half. It's plain as that.
He's got a pretty good runner in himself in Langford. The more I watch that kid play, the more I'm impressed. Tough.
Langford's rushed for 67 yards in the game now. Cook with time, throws, batted down by Corey Cooper. And there's a flag, was intended for Josiah Price. And a flag thrown. These are the 2 most penalized teams in the Big Ten. Each called for just 1 penalty in the first half.
Holding. Defense, number 16. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
We'll get Stanley Jean-Baptiste away from the ball on the holding call. At least that's who they called the penalty on. Well, that's the holding. When you tackle a guy when he's trying to get out on a route, I guess you can call that holding.
Yeah, the crowd,
it's a good call,
was booing as they thought the flag was going to be against Corey Cooper, who broke up the pass. First down, Michigan State. Spartans from their own 35. Cook, single coverage, deep throw, and a flag thrown intended for R.J. Shelton. The crowd thinks he shoved away the defender, Andrew Green.
And he did. And that's a nice play call, though, by Dave Warren, the offensive coordinator. A wheel route with R.J. Shelton matched up against 11 Andrew Green, 1-on-1.
Pass interference. Offense, number 12. 15-yard penalty. Still first down.
Let's see here if we can see a. Yeah, there was a
shove with the right hand. And
good call, right on it.
so the ball comes back to the 20-yard line. 1st and 25. Langford trying to run away from Gregory. Gregory whiffed. And Jason Ankra finally able to run him down. Looked like it would be a loss. There are flags down on the play.
That's what I'm talking about, saving yardage. I mean the spin move on Gregory.
Holding. Offense, number 59. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Dan France, veteran right guard, making his 34th career start. Senior out of North Royalton, Ohio, in the Cleveland area.
Right here's Dan Francis going to pull and be a lead blocker for Langford. He's coming up on the linebacker. Jeez.
Well, there's the hold.
Yeah, he got him the second time. Didn't hold him up the first time. Big screen down right here for Michigan State. It'll be interesting with JP, John Papuchis, the defensive coordinator. They're going empty if he decides to come after him, as Michigan State will take a timeout.
Timeout, Michigan State. On their own 10, 5 receivers spread the field. Connor Cook Wrapped up by Gregory, a good gainer. He got 8 to the 18-yard line.
We talked about it when we came out of halftime of what Nebraska needed to do. They have a chance to create some type of field position for their offense as they're pinned back.
Cook dumps it off in the flat. Jeremy Langford twisted down by Stanley Jean-Baptiste. Well, they got 7 more. And at the very least, they've done an excellent job of making the field position better. Still 20 yards to go for a first down for Michigan State.
Michigan State did pick up a 3rd and 19 in the first half that kept a drive alive, so they're capable of throwing that ball down the field on target.
Josiah Price, the tight end, shifted. He went out for a pass. Deep throw into double coverage and incomplete. A little bit too far ahead of Benny Fowler. Andrew Green, the safety, nearest to it for Nebraska, and Michigan State will punt.
Bo Pelini chose not to blitz, playing coverage in 3rd and 20. And Green does a good job covering his half of the field and cover 2 deep as the deepest.
There's Mike Sadler, not only an excellent punter, and it's still Westerkamp, who's struggled the last couple of weeks catching the punt and hanging on to them. Sadler's a great student. He graduated in engineering with a 3.97 GPA, working toward a PhD. Westerkamp, there's a flag down as he got bumped while making the fair catch.
And that would have been an illegal fair catch signal also. He gave it the one swipe and wave.
Tyler Ellsworth, we believe the guilty party. When we read the rule book, you're supposed to raise one hand clearly over your head and wave it back and forth more than once, but talking to some officiating folks at the half.
There's no foul on the play. The receiver was hit by his own man. First down.
It isn't always enforced that way.
You see right here, Sean, his head does not, or his hand does not go above his head. That's across his body.
And only once.
Yes. We either need to enforce the rule as is or change the rule, or don't have the rule. That's why you have the rule.
Anthony Ritter, his own man, got tangled up with him. 37-yard line, first possession of the half for Nebraska, and Amir Abdullah gets 3. Kaiser Reynolds and Danicos Allen combined on the stop. We've mentioned it several times. Michigan State has not given up 100 yards rushing to any team this season. You have to go back 12 games. They didn't allow 100 yards rushing to any team in the last 3 games of last year. Nebraska, the last team to rush for more than 100. Last November in East Lansing. That'll hurt their rushing yardage. Damon Knox taking Armstrong down back at the 35-yard line.
Well, Michigan State has depth up front, and you can get a big fella like this to get penetration and beat Cole Penzick, who's playing out of position at guard as opposed to center. Tries to hook him, but Knox is too quick.
Fastest they've gone to the line all day, and the receiver got taken down and a flag thrown. Curtis Drummond got all tangled up with Kenny Bell. They were trying for the home run ball with very quick tempo, as fast as Nebraska's gone to the line all day on offense. The
Pass
flag thrown at
interference.
the 42.
Defense, number 27, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Sean, coming into the game, they wanted to match up Kenny Bell. Normally he's outside, they move him inside because they like this matchup with Drummond. And right here, Kenny Bell does a little bit of a double shake move, just the outside post, and Drummond is smart by doing the tackle. I mean, that's a good play by Drummond, but that's a matchup that Coach Beck, the offensive coordinator for Nebraska, was looking for all day. Bell on Drummond.
15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Monty Cross is the running back now. The line now is the 49. Cross through a big hole. Drummond the only man with a chance, and he couldn't get him. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Sean, this is on Calhoun right here. Why? Because he's going to have a safety come for Tommy Armstrong. Calhoun does not close down to take the dive. Excellent read by Tommy Armstrong Jr. See the safety coming into your pitcher late? Calhoun has to take the dive. He doesn't. The Monty Cross runs untouched to the promised land.
Longest run of his career, 51 yards. And it's a one-score game. Pat Smith the extra point. It's a 6-point game as Mauro Bondi kicks off with the wind again. JJ wins his 6th and gets right on the heels of Richard Perry and Dale Earnhardt. Connor Cook hands it off. Jeremy Langford ahead for about 4. Leroy Alexander the tackle. Here's Robert Flores. Wow.
David Cutcliffe, outstanding coach.
Unbelievable job he has done at Duke. 2nd and 6. The option look. Cook belted as he threw it too high over the head of Josiah Price. Zaire Anderson, talk about a young player who you can see improving week to week. He's another with more playing time, first-year starter.
Outstanding game, and this is kind of a delayed blitz where his man is vacated, so he turns it into a pass rush. We talk about the lockdown corners of Michigan State. I got news for you. Nebraska has their own set of lockdown corners. Very good, very physical.
And Ciante Evans and Stanley Jean Baptiste. Big play here, 3rd down and 6. They bring pressure. It's Gregory again, and Cook thrown it away. Forced to throw it away. He's seen enough of 44 right in his face.
Let's do a little bit of a freelance rush, shall we? Let's line up 44 and say, you're the running back, find an open hole and go get him. This is the Sick'em blitz. Randy, Sick'em, exactly what he does. And it's all set up by coverage downfield. We just talked about their ability to play man-to-man and lockdown. Everybody's locked down. Connor Cook is forced to throw it away.
We asked him about that yesterday. Gregory, do you like being in that stand-up position? He said, absolutely. And they do give him the ability to freelance a little bit. Sadler punts into the wind, and not a good one. Off to the far side of the field. Took a good bounce. And rolled dead at the 33. Back into that national championship game equation. Out of the pistol. Amir Abdullah ahead for 2. Denikos Allen made the tackle. Tommy Armstrong's gone all the way at quarterback for Nebraska. Look out, Max Bulla applies pressure, and the throw is much too deep.
Well, they tried to set that up. They've been setting that up all game. Something they worked on in practice on Thursday. They were successful running the option against Michigan. A little bit of success today. So you always have to add an element to it. That time was the option pass off the option run look.
3rd down at 8. They tried to fool Michigan State. Kenny Bell, the receiver, fell down. Spartans bring a blitz. Armstrong throws, caught but short of the first down. Kenny Bell stopped at the 42, a yard short of the first down marker. Good tackle by Darquez Denard. And it's a 3 and out.
That's why he's going to be, in my opinion, a first-round pick in the NFL draft. Kenny Bell caught the ball fine, but Kenny Bell couldn't do work because he had a great break on the ball and a solid physical tackle to prevent the first down.
Big 3 and out by that Michigan State defense with momentum having turned against them. 47% of the time their opponents are on offense, their opponents go 3 and out. Only Arizona State and Baylor force a higher percentage of 3 and outs. Sam Foltz's punt. Here's McGarrett Kings. Crowd thought there was an illegal block behind the play, but there are no flags down, and it's a very nice run back by Kings. Aaron Curry made the tackle.
We understand the chorus of boos from the Nebraska faithful right here. Trey Waynes, number 15, is going to hit 18. Alexander in the back, and you can see it clearly, knocking him off with a chance to make the play.
Well, they showed it on the big screen here, and Bo Pelini, I think that's what the side judge says. It wasn't my call. Langford goes ahead for 3. That hit on Kenny Bell. The ball came all the way back, and Nebraska rallied from 10 down instead of 17 down to win. Nice run there by Langford. Out of bounds at the 49 of Nebraska. Banged out by Andrew Green. A gain of 11. First down for the Spartans.
Again, credit to Jack Allen, number 66, the center. The athletic ability to pull and seal the corner, which created the lane for Langford.
Langford 15 yards away from his 5th straight 100-yard rushing game. Cook had the man open. Wasn't a great throw, but Tony Lippett upset. It was catchable, wasn't perfect.
Well, we talked about the importance of Nebraska's defense to communicate, to execute. They didn't communicate right there, and they got a break because that was a miss by Connor Cook, which would have been a big play for Lippett if he would have just tossed him the ball out in open space. There was a mental breakdown for the Cornhuskers that Michigan State did not take advantage of.
Cook 7-1 as the starter. Did not start the opener. Andrew Maxwell was a 5th-year senior starter returning. Mark D'Antonio says a very hard decision to make. Gregory, and the pass batted down. Gregory forced the throw, and Jason Ankra batted it down.
Well, Javian Clowney, Todd McShay, take a look at the best pass rushing defensive end that's in college football, because nobody has speed off the ball than closing speed like Randy Gregory.
He's in his first year at Nebraska. He's a sophomore. By his own admission, he was lazy academically in high school. We talked to him yesterday. He's a very smart young man. He said, I was very lazy in high school, didn't qualify, went to junior college in Arizona. First year at Nebraska. Cook with time, throws, caught, first down. Huge conversion for Michigan State on the completion to Benny Fowler.
You know, Dave Warner's a smart guy. Why? He's going to take Langford to chip on Randy Gregory to help the offensive tackle and the tight end. You see Langford right there, giving Cook time to step up into the throw, which he's accurate when he has that time, to deliver the strike on the out route to Benny Fowler. Good call by Warner to get that running back over there to help his boys.
13-yard gain, huge conversion. Going into the wind, probably not in field goal range yet, and definitely not now as Ankra yanked down Langford for a loss. Back to the 41-yard line. Well, there's another reason why Dave Warner, the offensive coordinator at Michigan State, is smart, and I know you know what he is.
Well, I mean, why?
He's a graduate of Syracuse University, the Harvard of Central New York, where he was a fine quarterback. And he loves this quarterback, Connor Cook.
You can see him getting better every week, more confident. And the team has more confidence in number 18, Connor Cook.
A lot of the stats were even, but as you saw, the 4 turnovers, the big story of this game. Langford caught the pass, stopped at the 36-yard line by Ciante Evans and Zaire Anderson. And here's another huge 3rd down for Michigan State.
Well, again, it's the chess match. The John Papuchas come with the blitz, force the pressure. I say yes. I say put Gregory at linebacker, let him find a hole, see ball, get ball.
Dave Warner on the right of your screen, the play caller. Overall, Michigan State 7 out of 14, a terrific number against the great 3rd down defense. Gregory double teamed again. Cook still flushed. Running out of time, throws it away. Avery Moss was right in his face. And there is a flag down.
There is no foul on the play for intentional grounding. The pass crossed the line of scrimmage. Fourth down.
Both sides are anxious because I think the Michigan State folks thought that flag was going to be for a late hit out of bounds.
I don't know if that ball crossed the line of scrimmage. To me, it didn't look like it crossed the line of scrimmage. You see the yard marker right there.
And Moss did finish the tackle. Wanted to take him to the ground beyond the white spot. Maybe it's fair that neither team was penalized. It looked like both of them could have been. Sadler. Can he work that magic again? Oh, Drummond down there. And he got there to get it back to the 1 yard line. Wow, what an acrobatic play. The reason I'm a little distracted is the officials are talking about this now at the goal line. If it stands, it's the third time they've downed a punt inside the 10 yard line today, and Sadler came in to this one already leading the country.
You know, that's why you have starters on special teams, and you have an effort guy and an athlete like Drummond to make this play and have the wherewithal to put that ball back in bounds to one of his players to down it. That's an effort, man. That's our hidden yards. Hidden yards that never show up in the stat book.
They're at their own 1 yard line. And Armstrong lost the ball, and Michigan State has it back at the 4 yard line. Trey Waynes recovers. The 5th turnover by the Cornhuskers.
Well, Sean, when you have a new player in there, Cole Penzik's done an admirable job, but the timing is not right because you're going to see him pull and hit the arm of Tommy Armstrong Jr. And again, an unforced error and a turnover, a costly turnover by the Cornhusker offense. Just bad timing. And a lot of times when you go out of the shotgun so many times, then you're coming from my backs. The timing of running the football isn't there.
Penzik's ordinarily the starting center. He shifted to guard because of the injuries, though he has played guard previously this year. The line of scrimmage is the 3. Langford turns the corner and has the touchdown.
This offense got better when Connor Cook got better, obviously, because he's the quarterback. When that young man, Langford, decided to take ownership of that running back position, that's when this offense started clicking for Michigan State.
Michael Geiger on for the extra point. Now 24 points for Michigan State off the 5 Nebraska turnovers. Michigan State is +5 in turnover margin today. They haven't turned it over.
Well, we talked about it all day, communication. Watch number 11, Andrew Green, right here. He's fixing his chin strap. He's going to look in here, and right here, Gleichert's going to come across and be able to seal number 92. And see, he's still looking, so the ball's going to be snapped, so he's not in position to play defense, Sean. He's getting caught up because he doesn't know what he's doing, which allows Gleichert the proper angle to seal him inside so Langford can go outside.
Well, some similarities in recent years under these coaching staffs for these programs, Chris. Mark D'Antonio done a phenomenal job, bowl eligible for the 7th year in a row of school record, back-to-back 11-win seasons in 2010 and 11. That had never been done before, but they haven't won the championship. You know, they shared the Big Ten title in 2010, didn't go to the Rose Bowl, played for the title in the championship game in 11, lost. And the same thing for Nebraska. You know, they've won a lot of games under Bo Pelini, at least 9 every year, haven't won a conference championship. When you're playing in a big game in November, to put yourself in position to win championships, you can't be -5
no.
in turnover margin.
No. And especially with all the injuries and a big game, like you said, and against a tough defense that it comes tough to get points on, to put yourself at -5, it's impossible to win.
keep fighting back. Kenny Bell brings the kickoff to the 21. Kyler Ellsworth made the tackle. He makes a huge difference for that Ohio State team. Namir Abdullah trying to get to the outside. And he got 8. Crowd thought he got shoved out of bounds. A lot of critiquing of the officiating going on everywhere in the stadium right now on both sides. And here in the booth, Danicos Allen the tackle.
It's constructive feedback. But again, Amir Abdullah with the quickness and the speed. Nice hurdle move. And a good job, I think, of Allen pulling up and not going for the knockout shot. I think a good no call right there by the officials.
Well, Abdullah with exactly 100 yards rushing. 7 straight games and 9 out of 10 this year. Armstrong keeps. Max Bull to tackle. First down. And Chris, they talk about how Armstrong is a better runner than Kellogg. He's a dual threat, but he's really not a dynamic runner. The games that we've seen him play, certainly a far cry from Taylor Martinez.
I want to make this clear. I think Tommy Armstrong Jr. is going to be a fine quarterback in the future, but this offense is definitely hampered from big playability with the loss of Taylor Martinez.
Here comes a blitz after the redshirt freshman. He's throwing a deep ball into double coverage. Kenny Bell bats it away, and a flag is thrown. Trey Waynes and Curtis Drummond there.
You know, both sets of corners and both coaches do a great job of being physical, and they're going to live with these penalties. But Waynes is right there. His hands are probably on him, but I'm telling you, I love the aggressiveness.
There's no foul on the play for defensive pass interference. Second down.
Again, right there, they're in that. That's kind of called a press bail. They try to run an out and up, but Waynes is too smart for that. And I do not see any sign of interference whatsoever.
I agree. Bo Pelini, I'm sure his arm is wide. You throw the flag if you didn't see something that you thought was pass interference. Abdullah stays on his feet. Goes out of bounds very close to that first down marker at the 42.
Marking short about a yard.
Well, he's one of the 10 semifinalists for the Doak Walker Award as the best running back in the country. And I think you could make about as strong a case for him as any of the other 9 finalists, who are all obviously outstanding.
But he's doing it behind a patchwork offensive line, which I mean, that's tough to do.
Give them credit. They're opening a hole, as they did there, for Abdullah, who spun forward to the 48-yard line. First down, Nebraska. Long way to go. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I can't stress enough what an outstanding job John Garrison, the offensive line coach, has done. Just moving guys to different positions, and they're playing hard and they're playing together.
The one benefit they have is, even though they're playing a lot of backups, they're veteran backups for the most part. Upperclassmen who've had some experience. Pressure again from Michigan State, and Birch got splattered behind the line of scrimmage. Twan Jones rallied quickly to the ball for a loss of a yard.
You know, I'm just going to talk about it because I think it's so important. Let's go 1 step and wrap, 2 steps and squeeze, run through your target, not to your target. That's a textbook tackle, head up, and coming with bad intentions. Outstanding, Twan. Thank you. Don't see it very often, so I get a little excited.
Yes, you do. Part of a tremendous linebacker group, along with Bulla and Danicos Allen. Armstrong throwing a deep ball for Kenny Bell, and it's off target. With Drummond running in coverage, it'll be 3rd down and 11.
You know, you wonder if you're going to get to the point soon where Ron Kellogg warms up the cannon, as he calls it. Because you have to be able to throw the football, and you have to be able to throw the football downfield against this Michigan State team with a 2-touchdown deficit. To get in the game, you got to be able to throw the ball down the field a little bit better and more effectively than Tommy Armstrong's doing.
Still a gusty breeze at the back of Nebraska here in the third quarter. Armstrong hit as he throws, has his man Birch for a first down. Out of bounds inside the Michigan State 40. Armstrong took a lick but got it off just in the nick of time.
Yeah, one man's loss is another man's opportunity. Birch says, I'll take that opportunity. Nice route, good job of sealing that ball with his hands, and a nice job of Tommy Armstrong taking a hit from the water boy. Nicholas Allen, Bobby Boucher, that's his nickname on this Spartan defense.
Well, you did watch game day.
Yes, I did.
That fine feature by Tom Rinaldi chronicled the nicknames of 4 of the standouts on the Spartan defense.
And they have 11 standouts. I mean, they're good across the board.
Abdullah, a yard, and that's it. And they've done it for a long time. Pat Narduzzi's the defensive coordinator. Year after year, they turn out terrific defenses. I think the one question, Chris, was when you looked at the schedule they played so far, it's one of the weakest in the country. The one loss was at Notre Dame, but the wins against Western Michigan, South Florida, Youngstown State, Iowa, Indiana, Purdue, Illinois, and a struggling Michigan team. They're legit today.
They are, and it starts with the corners, Sean. When you have corners that can cover, that just gives you so much more that you can call as a defensive coordinator. And don't forget, Mark D'Antonio was a heck of defensive coordinator in his day.
Armstrong throws off the hands of Quincy Enunwa. That would have been a touchdown.
Boy, this is one they missed. And again, they're going to attack Drummond downfield. They're trying to get their wide receivers matched up on number 27. They felt they could exploit that matchup, and he's got to put this ball and make it a catchable ball. Now, in his defense, it's a little high, but I think that Quincy's a good enough athlete where he should have gone up with 2 hands to secure that catch instead of 1.
He's their leading receiver and does not have a catch today. That'll give you an idea of how talented that secondary is.
And they're going to match Bell right there. Bell's matched on Drummond right now.
Bell is just 19 yards receiving. Still doesn't look like he's running as well as he usually does. They're lofting it up for him, and he has it. Touchdown! Well, that yardage total got better for Kenny Bell in a hurry.
Well, I mean, they're telling us, and they showed us where their matchup that they like is. It's the slot receiver, whether it's Enunwa or Bell on Drummond. They came right back to the attack on number 27, and a good throw by Tommy Armstrong, throwing the ball up with confidence that his boy Kenny Bell would come down with it.
Pat Smith, transferred from Western Illinois, adds the extra point. Well, we asked Bo Pelini what he likes most about his team. He keeps talking about how they never quit. They battle back, how resilient they are. Dramatic last moment wins the last 2 weeks against Northwestern and Michigan, and hanging in there despite 5 turnovers against a great defensive Michigan State team.
Well, again, we saw it 3 times. This is the 3rd time's a charm for Nebraska. The matchup putting Kenny Bell instead of out here on the slot on number 27. That was a matchup they felt they could have. We called the shot, and this is an excellent ball by Tommy Armstrong. Throwing the ball up there, trusting that his guy will come down with the ball, and Kenny Bell catching at the highest point with the sore groin, pulling it in.
And he deserves credit because he's clearly not 100%. 38-yard touchdown.
Like I said, tell Ron Kellogg to keep coaching on the sidelines. Don't take Tommy. What a comeback. I mean, he's resilient. This whole team is resilient. They reflect their head coach. And I've known Bo for over 20 years, and I played with Bo. He's a tough guy that's never going to quit.
Yeah, these are 2 very tough-minded coaches.
Both guys,
both
yes,
sons
sir.
of Ohio. Mark D'Antonio, Zanesville, Ohio. Bo Pelini from the Youngstown area. Pelini watched his team go 79 yards in 10 plays. They converted 3 third downs against the Michigan State team that's number 1 in the country in third down defense. Bondi didn't boom that one with the wind. Tyler Ellsworth reached the 27 before he got collared. Still much to be determined in his off the field situation. It's a one-score game again. R.J. Shelton. That play took a lot of time behind the line of scrimmage. With as much penetration as Nebraska's had defensively today, that's a dangerous call.
You're right, Sean. And I think they can run right at him. They're not even trying to run right at him. I would give him a heavy dose of Langford right up the middle.
Connor Cook on 2nd and 12. Given plenty of time. And is that an interception? Yes, it is. By Stanley Jean-Baptiste, who stepped in front of Tony Lippett.
Well, he's 6'3" and he used all of 6'3". Former wide receiver Stanley Jean-Baptiste. He's going to step right in front of Lippett. Take a look. Right there inside. I circled the wrong guy, but right there you see number 16, Stanley Jean-Baptiste, showing his receiver skills, playing tough, physical, man-to-man defense and undercutting the route.
John Corus undoubtedly taking a look at this in the replay booth. Did he finish the catch, or does that ball hit the ground? They're going to review it. In a wild game like this, and boy, it resembles the game that you and I saw between these two last year in East Lansing, with twists and turns, controversial calls and no calls, big plays. Here's another hit the ground.
Michigan State gets the ball. Good effort and a good job of reviewing. You see clearly the ball bounces up. An outstanding effort. Sean, we talked about at halftime the one thing Nebraska needed to do. They've been able to create a little bit of field position for their offense. Remember, in the first half, it seemed like they were back behind their 20 a lot. And they've created some offense and field position this half.
And I know this sounds a little self-congratulatory, Chris, but we had John Corus, the same replay official, last week at Michigan. And he grabbed the two of us on our way out of the game. He said, please thank your crew for us, because I've never worked with the crew that did a better job of giving us quick, great looks at replays. Said there were 3 or 4 times last week he was just about to stop the game, and then our producer Bo Garrett, director Mike Schwab, and our great technical and production crew gave him a look that kept the game moving and made his job a lot easier.
After further review,
I don't think he likes the feedback.
the pass hit the ground. It was not intercepted. It will be Michigan State's ball. 3rd down and 12 at the 25-yard line.
Fair call, good call. Excellent. Excellent job of officiating, getting it right.
Jean-Baptiste had an interception each of the first 4 games of the year. You said a former wide receiver. It's turned into an outstanding corner. So here's a big 3rd down. And we talked about these are 2 of the best 3rd down defenses in the country. 1st and 3rd, respectively, Michigan State and Nebraska, but the offenses have more than held their own today. Michigan State 7 out of 15. 12 to go. They brought pressure that didn't get there, but the pass is dropped a little bit behind Benny Fowler. He couldn't hang on.
You know, just again, football, we always talk about it. Coach D'Antonio said it about last year's game, a game of inches. I believe if Fowler would have had a chance, now he can make that catch, but he would have been tackled if he made it behind him. If that ball was out in front, I do think he could have made the transition from catch to run and got the 1st down. Missed opportunity by Sparty.
So Sadler punts into the wind. With 13 seconds to go in the quarter. Pretty good kick. Westerkamp makes the catch and is tackled immediately. But you know, the first thing he wanted to do was make sure he caught it and held on. Tyler Ellsworth, outstanding special teams player for the Spartans. made the tackle. 46-yard punt into the wind with no return. And Nebraska's within one score despite the fact they've turned it over 5 times. Michigan State still has not turned it over. Might be the last play of the third quarter. Amir Abdullah ducked ahead 4-3. Standings entering the day in the Legends division. Michigan State the upper hand. The Nebraska win would make them dead even, and the Cornhuskers would control their destiny since the first tiebreaker is the head-to-head matchup. Michigan State wins today. Every other team in that division is eliminated except Minnesota. They still have a head-to-head meeting with Sparty. Abdullah took the handoff. First play of the fourth quarter. He runs across his own 35. That'll bring 3rd down and 6 for Nebraska.
A big opportunity for the Spartan defense to create a punt and create some type of field position for their offense, who struggled so far this second half.
Tommy Armstrong Jr. with Abdul on his left hip. Ron Brown, Joe Gann signaling. And movement prior to the snap.
False start. Offense. Number 62. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Cole Pensick.
When you get a team that blitzes and stunts a lot, and the longer that snap takes to happen, the more antsy offensive linemen get. He's done an admirable job for moving from center to guard. I mean, just outstanding.
Well, patchwork line hasn't allowed a sack today. Armstrong's thrown it 15 times. He's 8 out of 15 for 128. Passing situation here. Armstrong throws, man open, and he couldn't catch it. Jake Long, targeted for the first time today, would have had a first down. R.J. Williamson, the nearest defender.
Boy, the right read by Tommy Armstrong, just a poor pass. Man-to-man coverage, and Jake Long behind him. Would have been a very difficult catch, but R.J. Williamson there to make sure he doesn't catch it. But a good read. I mean, that's something to build on from Tommy Armstrong. That's a growth in his progress as far as reading coverages.
Long dealing with a hamstring injury. Fultz, rugby punt into the wind. Garrett King's backed off, let it bounce. They'll roll down to the 25-yard line. 45-yard punts. Big game in the Pac-12 tonight. Tyler Gaffney, one of those 10 remaining for the Doak Walker Award. Stanford Cardinal in Los Angeles to take on USC. Presented by the new windows tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Right here on ABC.
45 carries. I mean, we don't see that in today's day and age of college football and double tailbacks. It was outstanding effort by Tyler Gaffney. Admirable, it really is. 45 carries, man. That's a lot of hits.
Yeah, those 45 in their win against Oregon, the huge win. That was a school record from the 25. Wind at their back now in the fourth quarter. Langford drags some tacklers for 5. Here's Shannon Spake.
Well, the message to the Nebraska defense just moments ago, they're just letting them know, hey, we are in this Michigan State offense, so we're in their heads. They're going to try to make a big play. You got to be ready to go. The guys in Nebraska, their motto on defense this whole week has been David and Goliath. They knew that this was going to be a battle. David and Goliath, you guys know about that, huh?
Absolutely.
Look up in that booth.
I'm not quite sure what Shannon means by that.
I think she's calling me a Cyclops.
Cook, short set, and that hit the ground. The Garrett Kings couldn't hang on right at the first down marker.
Well, I don't know why they're throwing it. I mean, you run the ball up the middle with Langford as you have a missed opportunity. I mean, I can see you have a chance to make a play, you don't make it, but they're successful when they attack Nebraska right up the gut. I just don't think we've seen enough of that in this second half.
Cook out of the gun on 3rd down and 5. They only rushed 4, and it's a completion, and a big one to Tony Lippett across midfield and down at the 36. A 4-man rush got nowhere near Cook, and Michigan State has a 34-yard gain.
You see 14 coming across. Stanley Jean-Baptiste on him man-to-man. That's a man beater, is a crossing route because you help the coverage guy gets picked off. And right there he does. 82 Price picks him off and hits Lippett in stride. It's a man beater. Excellent call by Dave Warner. Well executed by Connor Cook.
They played coverage there. Been so effective the last couple of weeks, coming after the passers against Michigan and Michigan State. Jeremy Langford wrapped up by Corey Cooper. See that green line, just about where we'd estimate they need to get to kick a field goal. The wind would be at Geiger's back. He's 2 for 2 today, and 11 out of 12 for the season if it gets to that point. His long's 49. Might be able to stretch it a little bit longer than that line with the breeze. Langford running wide, got banged down by Leroy Alexander and Zaire Anderson.
Well, you said it last time. Big third down. What did they do? They played coverage, and they were able to get the first down. So go do what you go to best. You live and die by the blitz. Go ahead and blitz them. If you want to play coverage, get up there because it's 3rd and 5. Press them man to man, and trust that your pressure will get there.
Possible this could be 4-down territory if they gain a few, but not all of the necessary yardage. Cook over the middle, and Langford stopped about 2 yards short. I wonder if just those couple of yards is enough to get Mark D'Antonio to try the field goal.
Yeah, he's calling it. He held 3 fingers up.
Yeah, I think he said the punter. That's Mike Sadler, at least the holder as well. It is Geiger. They're going to go for 3, the 3 points he was holding up. So Geiger is a true freshman from Toledo who's been outstanding. We said 11 out of 12 with his 2 for 2 today. 45-yarder. Already hit from 45 in this direction earlier in the game. It's a fake. Sadler takes off running. And he has the first down. Gutsy call by Mark D'Antonio. Gregory came off the ground with the ball, but the officials have already signaled first down.
You know, not only a gutsy call, but that's a call that you're playing for championships. Right there, you make that call when you play for championships, and Sadler was very patient with that, and Geiger got in the way because the guy was coming from the side to get a tackle, and Geiger just got in his way where he had to go around. But I love the patience of Sadler, staying down there, letting the kicker run through to become your lead blocker. Ugly block, but effective block.
Think back to that game-winning fake against Notre Dame a few years ago. Langford carries. That is your 3.97 grade point average punter in engineering. He's 192 pounds soaking wet with the tough run because they started banging him around very close to the line to make. And he went forward.
Well, I love the call by Coach D'Antonio. I mean, again, that's a call you make when you're playing for championships. You're not just playing to survive, you're playing for championships.
Maybe the 3 fingers meant the run by number 3.
Yeah, run 3. Heck with it. Go with it. Good job, Mark. Excellent.
2nd and 7. Definitely in field goal range now, which would again turn it into a 2-score game. Kings on the end around. Buried by Ciante Evans. Here comes another 3rd down in a game filled with big 3rd downs.
Now, I've been watching number 44, Randy Gregory. He's been slow to get up. And for that defense to be effective and for coverage to be effective, he has to be a factor in the pass rush. I want to watch his energy because this is where mental toughness comes through. Are you tough enough to go through the pain? Well, let's take a look and watch.
Play fake to Langford.
Not running.
No pressure. And the catch made. Fowler has a first down at the 10-yard line.
Clutch it up, Connor. Very good thrower on the run as we've seen today. Nice route. Benny Fowler on the out.
Wow, late flag here.
Repeat third down.
An eligible man downfield is the call.
Mark's pointing into the replay booth. Let's take a look at where the ineligible man occurs. The only guy that I can see they can call that on is number 59, France, or 66, Allen,
yeah.
who is downfield past the umpire, and that's the right call. And you got to be disciplined not to finish off.
From here, we'll be back to that 45-yard field goal or so. Third and 13. Here comes the all-out pressure from Nebraska. Cook throws. Touchdown, Michigan State. Keith Mumphrey.
Here's a winning play by Langford, the running back. It's not a run. It's not tough yards. It's picking up the blitz on number 15, Michael Rose. Look at this job. Just enough to turn him to allow Connor Cook to step inside, and Mumphrey beats Stanley Jean-Baptiste on the post route and the strike by Connor Cook.
Yeah, perfect throw. Great execution all the way around by Michigan State. Have not turned it over. Kenny Bell runs it back to the 26. When we think back to last year, that game in East Lansing, they had 5 Big Ten losses last year by 13 points, a total of 13 points. 5 losses by a total of 13 points. And Mark D'Antonio said after his season ended at 7-6 their banquet, we were inches from a great season. 7-6 was unsatisfying. It could have been a championship season. Just a matter of inches here and there, including in the game against Nebraska. Well, the punter on a fake running for a first down by inches, I think, drives home that theme.
I want to stress enough. I mean, that's a call that you believe in your team to win championships. You believe in your defense to take potential points off the board to keep a drive alive. Gutsy call and a right call.
Armstrong drops the ball while retreating and then running for his life just throws it away.
And it's a team that's getting better as the year goes on because they've established themselves at quarterback position and they established themselves at running back position, which was a question mark early in the season.
With a change to Cook, they've really improved on offense. Mark D'Antonio made the point it's our improving offense against Nebraska's improving defense, and both have held true today. I mean, they haven't gone up and down the field. Just 296 yards of offense. But they've executed on the big third downs when they needed to. The blitz pickups. There's Birch with a catch. Trying to break free from Drummond. He could not. So when you play great defense, you're outstanding in special teams, you don't hurt yourself with turnovers. That's the formula to winning the big games.
Now, and again, it's covered too. And right there, Waynes doesn't help Drummond out at all. He goes inside with that receiver, and Tommy Armstrong reads the corner, throw the corner. He's up, throw back.
On 1st and 10. Armstrong going deep, single coverage, and it's off the hands of Quincy Enunwa. Darquez Denard had the coverage, and they have totally shut down Enunwa today.
And that's because 31, Darquez Denard, is doing a good job of playing technique. Look at that right hand. Now, you could be called for holding on that, but that's a technique. You try to hide and slap that inside arm of the wide receiver with your outside arm as the defensive back.
He is a distant cousin of Alfonso Dennard, who was a terrific cornerback here at Nebraska, now in the NFL with the New England Patriots. Here's a blitz on 2nd and 10. Armstrong threw too high. You may have noticed, and Darquez was asked about it, you're cousins, but you pronounce your name Dennard and he's Dennard. And Darquez's explanation was, when I was growing up, we were Dennard too, and then my mom got really mad at my dad one time and told us from now on we're pronouncing our name Dennard.
Interesting story. Wasn't highly recruited out of Dry Branch, Georgia.
Really no other scholarship offers. He said Middle Tennessee was on him, and then they yanked their scholarship offer in his senior year in high school. Dave Warner was down there recruiting somebody else.
Mumphrey.
Yeah, who just made the huge catch. Keith Mumphrey. Bernard had a big game and wound up with a scholarship offer from the Spartans. Pass for Sam Birch incomplete. And on 4th and 10 and all 3 of their timeouts left, Nebraska will punt.
Well, he had Birch open too, Sean. And just not stepping into the throw and making a clutch throw when one needs to be made. But he will grow into that. He's going to be a fine quarterback. Just missed that opportunity. Now you got to be alert fake here if you're Michigan State.
Folds' punt. Bounces back to the 32-yard line. A lot of those folks glum right now. It's Sparty enjoying the 34-21 Michigan State lead with 7 minutes to go. Deontay Evans drops Jeremy Langford after a gain of 2. They stick on the ground with Langford. He got popped by Zaire Anderson and lost a yard on the play. Line of scrimmage to the 35. It'll be 3rd down and 8, and the clock will run under 6 minutes before Michigan State snaps it next. Ron Kellogg, considered the better thrower of the 2 quarterbacks, has been warming up on the Nebraska sideline. He has not played today.
A big decision right here for Michigan State to take a shot down the field or be conservative and run it to keep the clock running. 5 wide might be a quarterback draw. They like it with this type of look.
Gregory after Cook, who throws, and it's caught. Connor Cook with Gregory breathing down his neck found McGarrett Kings for another huge first down for Michigan State with 5.5 minutes to go, a gain of 12.
Well, one thing he does very well, Sean, is throw on the run, and that ball is perfectly placed for McGarrett Kings on the crossing route under pressure by the ever-present Randy Gregory.
For those of you just joining us, Michigan State has never trailed. Nebraska's turned it over 5 times, and Michigan State has not turned it over. Several times Nebraska's battled back to make it a 1-score game, but a fake field goal kept the drive alive for Michigan State moments ago and led to a touchdown that has really taken the wind out of this sellout crowd here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
You just feel him getting better each game. And even in this game, the confidence that he's gotten, some of the tight windows he's been able to fit that ball into.
Langford, who's over 100 yards for the 5th week in a row, goes down 2 yards short of the marker. Here's Robert. Here tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I remember watching last year's race. He had a little trouble on pit road.
Cook's been terrific on 3rd down in this half. This is a rundown on 3rd and 2, and a whistle and a timeout called by Nebraska.
Timeout, Nebraska, they're first.
Didn't like the alignment, but
good thing, because he was out the door.
2 scores down, though, with 3.5 minutes to go. The timeouts are so precious. You hate to waste it with the clock already stopped. So again, 3rd and 2 with 3.5 to go. Nebraska brings everybody, and Langford runs through for the first down. Roy Alexander might have saved a touchdown with Nebraska selling out in 3rd down and short. That one should put the game into the win column for Michigan State.
There's the improvement in Langford, and I'm going to say it again because it's vital, his vision. They had an unbalanced line to the left. You see Langford right there being able to stick that left foot in there, see the vision of the hole opening up to the opposite side, then having a burst in power to get through there. Alexander with a touchdown saving tackle, by the way.
And kind of stumbled into Langford. We talked to Dave Warner. He said Langford really wasn't the starter coming out of spring practice. It was still very much an open question who would replace the great Le'Veon Bell. Langford has really improved as the season's gone along. Guys played some wide receiver and defensive back. Here's Shannon Spake. uttered that quote for the first time at that same banquet that we talked about at the end of last year when he talked about how their season was a matter of inches. Here's Langford. Touchdown, Michigan State.
A smile from Coach D'Antonio. That's good to see.
Maybe that's what he meant. You'll be the ones to bring a rare smile to my face.
Well, again, I mean, it's been a courageous performance by the Nebraska defense, but you're tired. Right there, Randy Gregory got to his gap, but he didn't get all the way into his gap. And then when you have a guy that just gets stronger the more carries he gets with Langford, he's able to burst through there to seal the deal for Sparty.
"37 yards, career high 32 carries for Langford for 151 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then Yuma drives it out of the back of the end zone. Ron Kellogg into quarterback here, Robert, for Nebraska. 2 minutes to go. The delayed Abdullah. He runs out of bounds. Almost a little surprised, Chris, that Abdullah is still in the game. I mean, the game's gone. I know you want to fight valiantly to the end, but if something happened to Abdullah with 2 minutes to go in a 3-touchdown game, you could pretty much cash in the rest of the year.
Yeah, knock on wood, the way their injuries have been going this year, that's one guy you want to keep healthy.
He stays in the block. Kellogg passes to Bell. He's shoved out of bounds by Trey Waynes. 1:44 to go. We talk about the difference between last year and this year for Michigan State, the difference in winning the close games, and they turned this close game into a one-sided affair late. Mark D'Antonio telling them you will be the ones, and perhaps they will. They're inching closer at least to the Big Ten championship game. Pass caught by Cethan Carter, backup tight end. Andrew Maxwell. There's a guy who was the starting quarterback last year, started the opener, lost the job, senior. And Coach D'Antonio thought it was a very hard decision. He has so much respect for Maxwell. How well that young man has handled it, how much of a team player he's been. Didn't poison the atmosphere. He's been very supportive and helpful with his experience to Connor Cook. We met Andrew last year, and one of the most pleasant players we've ever spoken to on the day before a game. He's not playing anymore, but he's still an important part of this.
He's a team player, and he's helped the growth and development of Connor Cook. And you know, I had a chance to speak with Taylor Martinez on the other side, and Taylor's been very supportive, being injured, of Tommy Armstrong and helping him grow and develop.
Kellogg throws it away. So Michigan State, with this win, takes a commanding lead in the Legends division of the Big Ten. They'll hand Nebraska their second loss.
Defense, number 89. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Shalik Calhoun still in there for Michigan State.
And Sparty goes on the road next week to Northwestern, who's in a fight right now with Michigan.
Blitz off the corner. They brought Bernard off the corner blitz. Tariq Allen with the catch, his first of the game for Nebraska. Well, every other team in the Legends division is going to be eliminated from a chance of winning the division, except Minnesota. And they'll need help next week. Kenny Bell the catch. As you said, Chris, Michigan State goes to Northwestern next week, then host Minnesota. All they'll have to do is win one of those 2 games. Minnesota needs help from Northwestern. That could set up a huge game in East Lansing. That's a forward pass from Kellogg. He was hit by the blitzing safety Isaiah Lewis.
Yeah, I think Pat Narduzzi got a little tired of them hitting little shots down the field, said, I'm going to blitz and not let them sit back there and pick us apart. And Isaiah Lewis, safety blitz.
Third down and 5. Allen another catch at the 20, extends the drive. And give Nebraska credit once again this week, fighting to the end. They had the dramatics the last 2 weeks, but too much of a hole today. So here are the up-to-date standings. Minnesota off this week, having a remarkable season. The Gophers But to make that game for everything in the Legends division on November 30th in East Lansing, they need Northwestern to win in Chicago next week. Michigan State has used its last timeout. And you think the defense and those stats don't mean something. I mean, they have just about all the starters out there in a 20-point game in the final minute of the game. They don't want to let Nebraska into that end zone again. There's over 38 minutes time of possession.
You know, 3 of those turnovers were self-inflicted where the Michigan State player didn't cause it.
Tariq Allen out of bounds at the 12. R.J. Williamson got him across the boundary.
The reason I say that, they're so good on defense, they don't need any help. Nebraska doesn't need to help them get better on defense.
Yeah, the errant pitch early in the game by Armstrong to Newby. Westerkamp puts the ball on the ground, what should have been a fairly routine tackle. Cole Pensick, the guard, collided with Armstrong on their last one coming out of the end zone. Curtis Drummond had the coverage on Allen, who's suddenly become the primary target of Ron Kellogg III. And then here at Nebraska, you know, Bo Pelini's won 9 games every year. Very well might win 9 again or more this year. They have 2 games left. They go to Penn State next week. They finish here right after Thanksgiving against Iowa. They'll play in a bowl game. But there's still some in this part of the country who think Bo Pelini's on the hot seat. We talked to some folks here recently who said it isn't helping their recruiting when there's been no definitive statement here from the administration, Sean Eichhorst, and particularly the athletic director, about Bo Pelini's future.
Well, here's one thing that they have to look and evaluate. They're very young at their defense. They got a young quarterback that's going to get better. So he's doing a good job of recruiting. And a guy that wins 9 games, it's not easy to win 9 games at Nebraska.
Well, he's won 9 each of the first 5 years.
Yep.
You know how many other teams were in the country that won at least 9 each of the previous 5 seasons?
Nope.
3 other teams.
Yep.
Alabama, Oregon, Boise State. I think those teams like their coaches. There's a touchdown by Amir Abdullah. And if you talk about a team being a reflection of its coach, have these guys quit?
Never. And that guy will never quit.
Never.
We started out the top of the show. He's the heart and soul of this team. There's a one-on-one matchup against Bula. Abdullah with the quicks is going to find that end zone when he gets a chance. Great balance and lower body strength. And both teams are a reflection of their coach. I mean, and you can say that about Bo, and same with Mark D'Antonio. They're a tough team. That's what he reflects. That's what he builds, and that's what they are.
Well, the extra point up and good. It's 28 points. That matches the most Michigan State's given up all year. Indiana also scored 28. They're the only 2 teams, Indiana and Nebraska, to score more than 17 against Michigan State this year. But to me, if they don't keep Bo Pelini around, they're absolutely crazy. I mean, you forget, first of all, where it was. The defense was historically dreadful before he got here. Wasn't a tremendous amount of talent in the program. You know, it's not the same as the old days when you could load up on all the walk-ons and have 130 guys in the football program. The times have changed. You know, Nebraska has a great tradition, great facilities, but there's a lot of other places that can make that statement too.
That's true. And again, I mean, if you're evaluating Bo and this staff, what you have to look at is you have to be a little bit patient. Maybe you take 9 wins this year, but you look at who's playing. I mean, you have Vincent Valentine. Randy Gregory's a sophomore. You have the guys in the secondary, Andrew Green. All these guys are coming back. Josh Mitchell, a junior, coming back. All these guys are good, talented players. You got a young quarterback, and you're going to be able to recruit. And if he can fill some of those spots, Sean, with continued talent like he's been recruiting recently, they're going to be good for a long time. Just stay patient.
Of course, the heat was turned up earlier in the year with the release of that audio tape that was 2 years old of Bo being critical of their fans after a win against Ohio State. But that was dealt with at the time 2 years ago by Tom Osborne. It was dealt with again earlier this year. So, you know, to me, that's no longer in the equation. If it was so distressing, they should have let him go at the time. And he apologized for it. And if you ever talk to Bo, you know he loves the fans here. It was just set out of frustration in a private conversation that never should have been released. Mauro Bondi picks off. Michigan State was lined up for possible onside kick. Mike Sadler, the punter, the holder. He was icing his right knee, by the way, after that.
That's the
run.
most contact he got all year.
Luckily, he's a left-footed punter. Huge win for Mark D'Antonio and the Spartans. Michigan State 9-1 overall, still undefeated in conference, in firm control now of its destiny. The Legends division needs to win just one of their last two to head to Indianapolis and in all likelihood play Ohio State in the championship game.